Welcome to the 2020 Just Blues Got a Soul Music Workshop. We are so happy to have you here today to share information about how to sustain your career during a global shutdown. We have so much to offer and continuing the Just Blues Music Foundation mission. It is our honor to bring information to you, hopefully that you will be able to use in your day-to-day business as an artist, performer, the new way of doing business as we move forward. So I would like to also thank some of our sponsors, Smoke Free, Rights for All Foundation, AJ Productions, Living Blues Magazine, Tunica Convention and Visitors Bureau, Blues Festival Magazine, B.B. King Museum, and the Horseshoe Casino. So we really look forward to you sharing this weekend with us. We decided, since we weren't able to see you in Tunica, Mississippi this year, that we would do things a different way, in a virtual way. So we've selected our signature events, the Blues Got a Soul Music Workshop and the Just Blues Music Awards show, to share with you over this weekend. So at this time, I'm going to ask Dr. Johnny Jones to come in and give you a little bit of information about Blues Got a Soul and what we do. Hello, Dr. Jones.
Hey, how you doing? Thank you very much, Charles, for allowing me to have this conversation with millions of people around the world who is watching our Just Blues Music Foundation Blues Got a Soul educational workshop. This is a great opportunity for you to learn more about the Just Blues Music Foundation and all the great things that we are doing, particularly with Blues Got a Soul. Blues Got a Soul is our educational initiative that provides a platform for students in the K-12 sector as well as higher education to help us to teach them to learn about the preserving and about the history of the blues. But our great opportunity through the Blues Got a Soul initiative is our mission is to preserve the true historical context of the blues, aligned with all the other different initiatives that we're doing with the Just Blues Foundation. We have a lot of other great things that we will talk to you about more about later in regards to such as our Blues Got a Soul museum without walls. Charles will talk about that later, as well as our other different educational workshops. You are going to have a great technical conference workshop today, and you're going to learn a lot. Again, we are sad that we were not able to join everybody in Tunica, Mississippi this weekend. However, we're going to look forward to next year of people continue to support the Just Blues Music Foundation. Also, throughout this workshop, as well as tomorrow, please, you will have a chance to donate to the Just Blues Music Foundation. We're a 501c3 organization. Every donation is tax deductible, and it's going toward the preservation of the blues and also the great work we're doing within the Just Blues Music Foundation. So continue to look at the screen below. You can see it scrolling past with the Cash App, and there's other ways on our website, www.justblues.org, where you can donate to our foundation and continue to help us to do the things that we love about the blues. And if you are on here today, you want to learn more about us, as well as you want to help us continue this great work. So with that being said, again, the Just Blues Music Foundation Blues Got Souls about influencing young minds to educate them about the blues, about working with preschools, K-12 programs, other nonprofit youth programs, colleges and universities. We have a mentorship program with the Just Blues Music Foundation artists that serve as personal mentors to our students. We provide scholarships to high school mentees to help further their interest in music education and the professionalism of musicianship. So we've been doing this thing for over 10 years between the ages of 18 and 17. We have a lot of great higher education partners in the state of Mississippi, Louisiana, and we'll continue to branch out to secure new higher education partners. And we're just trying to make sure that we do everything that we need to do for the preservation of the Just Blues Music Foundation Blues Guys Soul Initiative. So again, I'd just like to say thank you. Thank you for allowing us to have this, share this great time with you this morning. And we're looking forward for you to continue to watch the great things we're doing today, and as well as some of our outstanding performances tomorrow. And I would like to lead into introducing our moderator for our technical workshop, Mr. Jonathan Mason, who's a long-term friend with the Just Blues Music Foundation. He does great work, great speaker. You know, he's going to bring a lot of good information. He has a wonderful panel that is excited to educate you today. And this, I can't say so enough about this outstanding young man, and look forward to watching what he's going to bring to the table. And thank you. Thank you for supporting Just Blues Music Foundation and the Blues Got a Soul Educational Program Initiative. Jonathan?
All right. Thank you for that, Dr. Jones. I got to say, I'm excited to be here, but I do miss that Mississippi catfish this year. I'm not even going to lie about that. Especially, Johnny, your tips on how to eat it, since I never knew I was eating it wrong all these years. Again, I'm Jonathan Mason, and I've been honored to participate with Just Blues for the last several years, both as a photographer, capturing a lot of the images from our presentations, our performances, and also as a speaker and moderator at our tech conference. And I'm excited to be here this year for the 20th anniversary music conference. And just to give you a little overview, we have two main components of our program today. First, we're going to talk about a platform called Show For Me that right now is the perfect time for us to be introducing this to our audience if you're not familiar with it. And we're going to have three of the gentlemen behind this platform on with us, if I'm not mistaken, all the way from the Ukraine. So we are taking advantage of being virtual and widening our universe and bringing this great information to you. And following that, we're going to have a panel discussion with three dynamic women who are going to give a lot of good information about how do you sustain your career in the music industry during a global shutdown. And I know that's something that everybody can benefit from. Even if you're not a musician, you may know one, or you may be able to use the information yourself. So with that, before we get to the actual gentleman from Show For Me, we have a little intro video that we'd like to play to welcome you to the platform. All right, what a great intro. So with that, I'd like to introduce you to the gentleman behind this great platform. And before we went on, I talked to them and I was going to use their last names, but they say, no, keep it simple. And so I'm just going to be using their first names as they gave me permission to do. So we're glad to introduce today Mr. Yuri, who is the Chief Business Development Officer, Alex, who is the Head of Artist Relations, and Dan, who is the Business Development Manager from Show Me. Thank you. Welcome, guys. Thank you for being here. We were really, really excited about having you here. And we're going to get into a lot of information about your platform, and we'll have a little Q&A. So I'm sure each one of you will have a chance to talk. But before we get into the sort of the substantive video about your platform, one of you guys like to give a little intro about what we're going to see, maybe a little information about the platform, and then what we're going to see in the video that we're got queued up.
Hello, Jonathan, and thank you. And hello, everybody. Thank you for having us today. Our team, the whole Show For Me team, is thrilled to present our services today and help artists to perform and to make money amid the pandemic lockdown. So before we present you, make a short demo video about our platform and how it works. I'll just give you quick facts about the platform. It's a UK-based platform with team members around the globe. We launched this project 5 years ago, and it evolved from a simple crowdfunding platform to a whole ecosystem with different services and features. And today we're gonna show you the main revenue streams and a set of tools that can help artists to perform and to sustain their music business. So let's move on with the short demo video.
Hello, my name is Alex and welcome to Show For Me. Show For Me is a music interaction network designed around music for music industry professionals, artists, and fans. The platform has 5 revenue streams and special tools for artists to monetize their music. So let's get started. Let's start with Artist Clubs. Artist Club Premium membership allows artists to get paid for a fan subscription, while fans pay just $1 per year to listen to music of one particular artist. Event crowdfunding is a unique tool for artists and professionals who are involved into the live show business. It allows them to put on risk-free shows worldwide. Now let's talk about music crowdfunding. Music crowdfunding allows artists and record labels to pre-sell their upcoming music albums, even before it goes live. For example, if an artist doesn't have enough funds to master or mix their music album, they can just start the campaign to pre-sell the album and raise some funds for its production. Music. Of course, artists can upload their music to their artist club to sell it or to share it with their fan base for free. So now let's talk about online concerts, because online concert is the most popular feature as for today on the platform. Almost all artists around the globe are on lockdown, thus they cannot make money on their live shows. That is why we added online shows last April, and as for now, more than 300 artists had their paid online shows. So let me show you how to set up your first show. To create your online concert, just go to Create, Campaign, and choose Online Concert and click on Create button. Here you need to add the basic information actually about the concert, like event title. You can mention your artist, of course you can add the country, venue name, or if you're at home, just say that you're at home. And after, just add the brief description and general description. It's quite important to tell fans about your show and to make it more attractive. So if you have any pictures, if you have any photos, you have, let's say, some audio on video, please add it here. So we can go to the second section that is called cover and media. And here you can upload your cover image, the promotional video. We advise our artists to shoot some brief, like 20 seconds promotional videos where they invite the fan base to participate in this campaign and go to this online concert. And of course, if you have any tracks to share, so we can upload it to make your campaign more attractive. But the main part when creating the campaign is funding and tickets. So let's say you have some cost for the show and you need to rent some video camera or some audio interface, etc. So you can calculate a budget and put it here. Let's say it costs you 100 euros or United States dollars or Great Britain pounds. So we choose United States dollars, and you see that the amount is a bit higher, that is 106 now. So that means that we added on top our show for me 6% fee. So the next step is allocate your budget. You can create up to 20 different ticket types and you can set any price you want. So let's say the first ticket type will be general admission. That means that you can describe your ticket type. Let's say that you'll get the access link in 1 hour before the show. The number of tickets can be 100 and the price can be like $5 per one ticket. Also, you can add more ticket types. Let's say you can create fan pack that includes some monetary or non-monetary rewards. For example, that can be like t-shirt or vinyl or any non-monetary reward like personal thank you video or happy birthday wishes, etc., etc. So just think what works for you better, what you can share with your fan base, etc. So of course we advise to set some limited number of such tickets, let's say 5, but the price for that ticket will be $25 per each. And you can create more and more after you allocated actually your amount to reach your confirmation point, or you can call it break-even point. So you can go further and see the stats on your campaign. In case of sold out, in case you sell 105 tickets, your profit will be $489. The total funding goal will be $625. So that means that funding goal consists actually of your profit and your break even. So after, you need to set the funding period that can be for 7 to 150 days. And for online shows, usually we advise to set your funding period for 14 days. That will be more than enough to promote your campaign. After the funding period, you can set your estimated date. You see that the platform suggests to you the August. So if you plan to have your show next month, let's say September, so you can change it here. After, you just need to set your age restrictions, but if you don't have any restrictions, just skip it and go next. The next section called sponsors. Sponsors allow you to add any sponsors. Let's say if you have some local brands, companies, or some radio stations that can help you with the promotion. So you can add here their logos, their website names, this description. So all fans who will buy your ticket will be engaged with this sponsor. And now go next. On the last page that is called confirm and schedule, you can find all the details about your campaign. You can find your funding, your budget, your tickets, your sponsors information, and you can choose when you want to start your campaign, because you can start it right after the approval or you can schedule date and time. When you're ready, just launch your campaign. After the campaign is moderated, it appears on the platform and you'll find it on the Discover page. So to find it, or to find any other successful or just launched campaigns, go to the Discover page, find Event Crowdfunding, click Discover More, and now you can choose between different types of campaign. So we need to find online concert. Click here to online concerts and after choose Successful. And now let me show you the example of some health show. This is example of how the online concert campaign looks. So you can find the ticket price, you can find the ticket types, and of course the description of your campaign. And that's, as I mentioned, that's an example of just health show. So after the show, you'll be able to watch it as well. Also, we have launched Show For Me Live, that is our own video streaming service that allows artists to stream their online concerts. So you can use it with OBS or any other applications on your laptop or your mobile phones. So now it's quite easy to start your online concert campaign. Thank you very much for your attention. Looking forward to your questions.
All right. Thank you guys for that video. And then we do have some questions ready for you guys. But before we do that, I would love it if you guys would maybe, let us know a little bit about you and what you do with the company and how long you've been affiliated, that sort of thing. Just 30 seconds to a minute from each one of you on your role with the company.
Mhm.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
Let me start.
Yeah, go ahead.
So, yeah, my name is Alex, and I'm head of artist relations. So, our main task to help artists, to help to set up their campaigns, to help them with onboarding, and the main part to explain how they can use all the tools that we have on the platform. So, as for now, we have limited offer when we help them with the promotional posters, so our graphic designers can do that for them. So that's much easier to promote your online content on social medias, etc., etc. So we do many things, and our main goal to support our artists.
Thank you. Dan?
Okay. Yeah, thanks for having us. My name is Dan. I'm business development manager at Show For Me. Also, I'm a host of Show For Me Friday live streams that are coming out every week on our Instagram. I work with artists, I work with distributors and labels, and I'm trying to bring to Show For Me the more quality of artist branding. So I work with artists as well to manage their career, to develop their artist branding, how to make a great show of emerging artists. There's secrets that I reveal to them and trying to help them as much as I can since I have this experience of being an emerging artist as well. Thank you.
Sure. All right, Mr. Yuri, it's your turn.
Right. So, my name is Yuri, and I'm a Chief Business Development Officer at Show For Me. And I'm responsible for all the professional partnership relations within the company, and all the partnership relations with labels, associations, and other professionals. So we bring them our services. We find fruitfully beneficial projects, and we work with other platforms as well on the referral basis, or when we offer them our service as a added value. So basically, that's what we do.
Okay. All right. So with respect to these questions, you guys, I'll let you decide who wants to answer, and then if somebody else wants to chime in and add information, then feel free. So I was looking at your site before we went live today, and I saw something called the Artist Club, and that looked pretty interesting. So I was wondering if somebody could talk a little bit more about what the Artist Club is and how that could benefit an artist.
Sure. Let me start. So basically, Artist Club and Show For Me is an official artist account to interact with the fans, to post news, to share music, to share videos, and launch events and pre-sale campaigns and online concerts. Moreover, sell music and merch, etc. So Artist Club and Show For Me, let's say it's the unique tool that helps artists to create and develop their branding strategy, as I was talking about it, and the full circle of music and event monetization. So if you got any questions regarding Artist Club, please go ahead.
Okay. And so I did have a question of my own. I was like, this was started, I guess, how long ago was this started, and how has it adapted to like where we are now with the pandemic, with everything being so virtual?
So you mean, do you mean the Artist Club?
No, in general. No, I just mean in general. The platform.
We started in 2015. Firstly, it was the model of concert crowdfunding service. And then with the years of development, with the years of rebranding, we developed a new service, a full service, a full interaction network with many features of how musicians can monetize their music, of how musicians can develop their brand, of how musicians can set up the events, set up the successful events, and sell music.
Okay. Now, there's in the video, there was a section on ticketing. So how does this work? Like the ticketing service part of the platform, how can that benefit artists or promoters? Tell us a little bit about that.
Yeah, let me tell you. So, as Dan mentioned, we started 5 years ago, and it really was a concert crowdfunding platform, and that worked pretty good. I mean, the main idea was to make the show business absolutely risk-free, because let's say if you want to organize your live show, you have to invest your money both, like, if you're an artist or a promoter. So that's why we created the new absolutely model for online concerts. And after that, we got many positive feedbacks actually on that, and just start developing on the platform, and now we have music interaction network. So um, it's not about ticketing. I mean, of course, we have part of ticketing on the platform. We have built-in ticketing generating system for offline shows, as well as we have free application to scan and verify these tickets. And you know that nowadays it's all about stats and about marketing. So that's why, let's say, if a promoter is an artist and you do show and show for me, so you get the full stats actually on your visitors who visit your, who actually pledged to your campaign, bought tickets, etc., etc. So, but the main idea that show for me is a system. So the best part of that we unite different revenue streams, under one umbrella. So let's say if you have one show and you sold like at least 20 tickets, that means that you created at least 20 fans, so you created your fan base. And when you go with the next show, it's much easier to create it, and to sell it, and more and more. And let's say if you have in 2 months, let's say you have some new music upcoming release, so you notify this audience, and again you can interact with them, you can offer them your new tracks, etc., etc. So that's why that's not about the ticketing, but of course we have it, and it's like about 10%, on the all features that we have on the platform.
Okay, great. Now, we've all seen these concerts or performances online on Instagram and other platforms. So within your platform, how does the actual online concert work? Like, is it streamed out over Zoom or YouTube, or how does the concert actually get out to the public?
Right. So that was quite important to create our own video streaming service, and we did it. So you don't need to use any third-party services for that. So you have one platform. When you start selling tickets, when you got all the information about your audience, as well as you can monetize your fan base, right? So let's say when you start your online show, you can schedule your live stream. So on the video, you saw like the last 20 seconds on the screen how it looks. So it's quite easy to start. You can start your concert using your laptop or your mobile phone. It's easy to connect, and again, our managers can help you, to set it up and to make some sound check now.
Okay. And a question that just occurred to me is like, if artists, if they're doing cover songs, for example, not their own music, um, do they have to turn in a set list, or how does the licensing work? On streaming out a concert.
So artists are free to pick up any set list they would like to pick up. For sure, if the artist is the cover artist, which is very, very important, just because licensing and all the things that they have to purchase before playing those songs are very important. For sure, artists are actually aware of those songs that they are playing. Show for me is not taking any risks, is not taking any responsibility on that. We are just giving them the tool. We're giving them space to play their songs, to develop their brand. And what's they're playing? This is artist side of the question.
Okay.
Thank you.
And are most of your customers artists, or is it a mix between artists and promoters and other managers? What's your customer breakdown?
Actually, Show for Me is dedicated to all of the music industry professionals. So, promoters, labels, musicians, management companies, emerging and big artists, everybody can join Show for Me and benefit.
Gotcha. So, question that everybody always wants to know, and I'll focus on artists since primarily, that's what the Just Blues conference is geared toward. How can artists make money off of a platform like Show for Me?
So artists have five revenue stream on the platform. So let me just tell you briefly. So the first one, that's of course online concert that we mentioned before. Again, it's quite important currently to be online and to work with your fan base. And online concert, that's the only opportunity now to monetize your live streams, because there are so many free live streams on Instagram or Facebook or YouTube, but again, they are quite low quality, and when it's free, actually you don't offer something special, right? So the main idea to create the campaign with cool ticket, with ticket plus thank you video, or with some CD or some T-shirt, etc. So, and give something special and unique during this concert. So that is idea. So that's like we have high demand to it for now, and was that's the primary revenue stream for artists currently. But again, after let's say they held their online show, they can tell their fans that they can that their fans can listen to their music, for example, on Show for Me, so they can sell music on the platform, and they set any price they want to download and to listen to it online. Moreover, we have Artist Club $1 premium membership. So that means that fans will be able to get access to the artist music of one particular artist on the platform. So it's actually an alternative to music streaming services, because you know that they use the pay per stream model, but here you get access to one particular artist, and this money goes directly to the particular artist. So that's quite powerful tool. And let's say if you have 1,000 followers on Facebook or Instagram where you cannot monetize them, and you have 1,000 followers on Show for Me who paid you just $1, at least you earn $1,000. So that's a great opportunity for artists to monetize their music. And of course, we have concert crowdfunding. That's a quite powerful tool. If you're an artist or promoter and you don't want to make it risky, so you can go live with that. And of course, we have music crowdfunding. Let's say if you want to pre-sell your future album, or you want to raise some funds to its production, you can start your music crowdfunding campaign and get support from your fan base. And of course, to make your music. That's the main. Are you with us?
Yeah, it seems Jonathan stepped
Yeah.
out for a second.
Okay, all right.
Yeah.
There we go. The internet, boy, I tell you, sometimes it'll
Yeah.
play a trick on you.
Yeah,
Um,
that's okay.
when you were talking, I had another thought. I know that there are so many different levels of artists, and I know like sometimes like new artists are really kind of like uncomfortable, or they don't have a lot of information, or they might not have all their business together. So do you work with artists of all levels, and what kind of support can you provide artists maybe who are just starting out?
Yeah, sure. Thanks for the question. For sure, Show for Me works with artists of all levels, of all music genres. We are open to the worldwide audience, since we have different musicians, and we can offer them, like, moreover, we offer them a tool to monetize their music, to organize concerts, to sell music. So they can do all of that things that they did before. They can do all of that on one platform, at one place. This is very, very important for artists to do that, because if artist goes live into Show for Me, he sees all the function right in his hands. So the only thing a musician can do in Show for Me is start working, start monetizing music, start releasing songs and playing concerts. This is very important. Our team is always open to work with musicians that deserve it, that actually are work working great, and we are helping them in developing their brand. We're helping them to organize the concerts, both from technical side in helping with the sound checks and helping with the downloading all the applications they need for it, uploading the software and hardware, and from technical side of helping to withdraw money, helping to set up the campaign page, helping to set up it right. As Alex mentioned before, we're helping them with design and posters. So we have great creative department that helps with every poster, that helps with every snippet for musicians, and this is very important for promoting the campaign, because visual part of every campaign, especially since it's a concert campaign, is very important. So musicians also musicians can brand development. We are always open to help them.
And let me add just briefly that when you aspire an artist, when you just start a music career, that's all about education. And our team actually does, you know, very powerful articles and educational materials for artists about everything, how to even start producing your music, or how to promote your brand online, how to set up your offline online shows, and many other things. So we have our own blog on the platform when artists can find all the material they need actually for their music career.
Okay. We had a question from YouTube asking what is the average production cost per concert, and I was actually going to ask a question about cost to the artist, or like the membership, or what are the costs. So if you could talk about that, that would be great.
Sure. Can I just specify the question? Do you mean the production of the online concert?
I'm assuming that's what they mean, but that's all they said is what's the
Okay,
cost.
I guess they are talking about online concerts. For sure, concerts they are beautiful. They can be created in different ways by different musicians. So all musicians are different. They play in different genre, and nobody can predict how much money they can spend on online concerts. Musicians can spend from $20 to $1,000 for an online concert. It's all about quality, and our team always tries to get the highest quality of the minimum amount of money and amount of sources musicians actually have.
What kind of cost can they expect? Not the amount, but what would they be spending, money on to for their show?
Well, yeah, Alex, go ahead.
Yeah, I just want to mention that the majority of artists who started their online content on the platform, they have all music like home recording studios. So they have their laptops, they have their DJ controllers or guitars, etc., and they have some webcams like HD camera or a built-in camera or mobile phone. So and to start doing your first online show, that can be more than enough. So it's quite important to understand that you can do that with your equipment. So, but again, of course, if you want to create it, better, if you want to use a few cameras simultaneously, of course, you can rent it and it will cost you something. And of course, it depends on the country and the city where you live in. And as for the cost, so it's absolutely free to join Show for Me. So we don't have any subscription for artists, so they can create their artist club for free, etc. So yeah, please join.
Mhm. Great. Well, that's good to hear. So I'm sure there are competitors to you guys out there, especially, have maybe popped up over the last few months. So what sets Show for Me apart from other platforms out there?
So basically, the first thing I would like to mention is the fee. We have the one of the lowest fee on the market. From all the competitors that do online concerts, Show for Me is the best decision for emerging artists for sure. And moreover, our online concerts are ticketed. So since most of our competitors are online platforms, and musicians can play online concerts there in two ways. In the vast majority of things, they can play online concerts that are based on donations, or they can play free online concerts. Show for Me gives the ability for the musician to set it up their page for free and play ticket, taking one of the lowest fee on the market. So also there are platforms that musicians have to pay subscription for. This is very important. Like this platform that we are right now in. To use StreamYard to stream your concert, you have to pay. To stream your concert and Show for Me, you can do it for free.
Good. Awesome. So,
Yeah, and yeah, I'd like to add something.
sure.
And the most important thing about the Show for Me, about the platform, is that that is an ecosystem. That means that artists can uh, start their concert on the platform. They can sell music. They can interact with fans during the show and after the show. That is very important. That they still have all the contacts after the show, and they can grow their fan base in one place and efficiently monetize that fan base. And about the fees, yeah, it's free to join, and we are success-based platform. So that means that we charge our fee only if our artists, we call them our because they are part of our family. Only when they are successful, when they make money, then we make money.
Awesome. So we'll wrap it up with this question, and this leads into our panel. Do either of you guys have any a tip for artists on how to get through this pandemic, or things that they can do to through your platform to help make it through this period when everybody's locked down?
Yeah, I mean it's we are proud of our platform because it's very democratic. As guys mentioned, it's easy to join. There is no entrance barrier. Anybody can join it and start using these uh, music specialized tools right away without paying any fees. And there are so many cool features available on the platform. And if you guys want to learn more um, about the platform and how to make money out of your music, please join us for free webinars. Please leave your name and your email in comments, and we'll reach out to you with details on the upcoming webinars.
All right. And finally, just real quick, how do people, you want to give your website or any of your social media contacts so people want to connect with you that way?
Yeah, it's easy. It's showforme.com. That's our platform. It's very easy to enroll, just 5 minutes to create your professional page and start making money out of your art.
All right.
Yeah, let me add that Show for Me is very active on social networks such as Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter. So musicians, artists, managers, and labels can contact us from any source that they wish, as long as the support channel, which is support@showforme.com, and support chat on the website. So please welcome.
Awesome. Well, I can't thank you guys enough. I see comments that this is so informative. I've seen dozens of comments. So hopefully you guys will get some follow-up from this, and it'll be out there in the universe. So you'll probably hear from people as time goes along. And we really thank you. Highly informative. And I'm definitely going to tell people about you guys. So thank you so much for your time and for joining us at Just Blues Music Foundation.
Thank you.
All right.
Thank you, Jonathan.
Awesome. Take care, guys.
Take care.
Hey, bye.
Wow, what a presentation. But we've got more in store for you, and I'm sure you're going to enjoy the information that we're about to share now from these dynamic lady presenters, all very impressive within their fields and within the music realm that we're discussing today. So what we're going to do is we're going to allow each one of these presenters to introduce themselves and talk a little bit about what they do and give a tip or two on what artists can do during this pandemic and global shutdown to sustain their careers. So we'll have attorney, extraordinaire entertainment attorney Stacy Epps, and she'll lead us off. And then we'll go to Bernadette Harris, who's a forensic accountant and professor. And then we'll have music supervisor and branding consultant Karen Marie Mason. So we're in for a real treat here. Stacy, how are you?
I'm good. How are you?
All right. It's really good to see you.
Yes,
And,
you as well.
yeah. So we'll just let you just jump right in and just go ahead and get started and share your information with everyone.
All right. Well, thank you again, Just Blues Music Foundation, for having me. I am here at home, as most of you all are as well, with little ones running around on a Saturday. So just don't be alarmed if you see one pop their head up in the video. But definitely, I am, as Attorney Mason said, I am an attorney as well as an educator. I taught at Art Institute of Atlanta for many years, music business. So my passion is in teaching. And my practice is based on helping artists, producers, start their companies, protect their intellectual property. It's so important now, see, I told y'all, sorry about that, that I feel like right now in this time of the pandemic, more than ever, is a time to look at what you have and organize your creations, right? Make sure that everything that you have is protected because the key is generational wealth. Understanding and learning those things that you may have been a bit unclear about, like publishing versus, the composition versus the master. I've been putting off registering the trademark in my name. I've been putting off registering the copyrights in my songs. I haven't actually organized all of my copyrightable assets. Now is a great time, again, to educate yourself as well as do those things that you've been putting off that you can do now, and make sure that everything is organized. I think that is key because we tend to put some of those things off because they're not as exciting. And so I highly recommend that. And some other resources that are actually available. Say there are some organizations that you've always thought about joining or learning more about. And I also tell people at this time of the pandemic, people are more than willing to speak with you, meet with you. People have less busy schedules sometimes, so you can get on those calls or Zoom calls with people that you may have wanted to and haven't had the opportunity to do so. So I highly recommend reaching out to those people that you have just been thinking about and have always just missed, or schedules didn't work out. So use this time to set up virtual meetings with people. And it's a different way to network. I was actually speaking to one of my clients because he was saying, well, my strength is actually face-to-face, in person, speaking with people. And so he felt a little taken aback with all the internet, online, social media distance. And so my suggestion to him is use these Zoom calls, use these meetings to be face-to-face with people. And I know it's a bit different, but, organize Zoom networking events, do things, different. So I think now is a time that's so we can really apply our creativity to the business in two ways of monetizing what we're doing. I was so happy to see the Show For Me site because I was completely unfamiliar with that, and it just looks amazing. Another example of someone who is doing great things is Erykah Badu. She created her own website and her own platform using another platform as a conduit, but she'll have live shows and different scenes, and you can actually donate money during the show. And she's done an amazing job in, keeping people engaged during these times. Make sure that you're members of the union. There are a lot of, so I want to talk about some of the websites where you can go just to get resources. One, the Music Artists Coalition, the Music Artists Coalition.com. They're a great organization, but they actually created a music COVID relief.com site, which has various resources for artists during this time. So I highly recommend you go to that site and look at it. Again, that is musiccovidrelief.com. Also, there are the American Federation of Musicians at afm.org. They also have a great deal of resources set out for musicians and artists. But I think the key thing is using our creativity to, pivot and create something different and use our stories and our voices and the tools that we have to create something beautiful. And I think that's the beautiful part of music and being a creative person, is that we're not kind of locked in and we can do so many different things and coming up with ideas. So I challenge everyone to think completely outside the box and do things that you might have never thought you could do, and bring coalitions together, and remember your strengths and what you're really, really good at. Because it could be something that you're just really, really good at that you can focus on and create a unique niche for yourself at that time. So that's what I want you to do. Focus on your vision. If it's clear, if it's not clear enough, get it clear, your mission, what you want to achieve, and do that, and do it in a creative way that you never thought you'd be able to do it before. Remember, people are receptive and they need that creativity. They love and honor your creativity. So remember the value of your creative works so that they are protected, and consult with people who can help and network in that way. So I hope that helped you all. That was my tips on things that you can do right now. Hope that helped.
It was very helpful. If I was on camera, you would have just seen me taking notes after note after note. So that was very helpful. So thanks for that information. And I'm not sure if you're able to hang around for like 10 minutes for the question and answer.
I'll try for sure.
But if you can, that'd be great. But we understand. We understand. But that was very helpful, and thank you so much for your time.
Thank you.
And with that, we will lead into our next speaker. Ms. Bernadette Harris, who will introduce herself and share some helpful tips with us.
Good morning. No, it's not morning. It's afternoon. Good afternoon. I'm really
morning in Ukraine.
it's morning somewhere. Right?
It's morning somewhere.
Well, I'm Bernadette L. Harris, and I'm a tax and forensic accountant with By the Book Accounting. I'm really excited to be a part of this wonderful event, like 20-year anniversary. This is amazing. And kudos to you guys for not skipping a year because you weren't able to meet in person. So just a little bit about me. Like I said, I'm a tax and forensic accountant with By the Book Accounting. My firm has been in business for 19 years, and our mission is to keep small business in business. And you as musicians and producers, you're also business owners. Another thing that I do is that I teach at the Atlanta Institute of Music and Media. And so that is how I am connected to the music industry. And like Stacy, I'm an educator. I've always been an educator at heart. I actually went to college to be a teacher and changed my mind and switched to accounting, but I still ended up being a teacher, just in a different way. So for the last 20 years, I've been working with small business owners and helping them to start their businesses the right way. One of the things that I recognize is that businesses don't go out of business because they don't know how to do what they do. They go out of business because they don't know how to run a business. And there's a distinct difference between running a business and actually doing what it is that you do. So just as musicians, there's a difference between being an amazing guitar player and being able to run a band or run a business. So as we speak about tips for you, one of the things that I would like to impress upon us, the importance now during this pandemic is the importance of really legitimizing your business. A lot of times, business owners, we have gotten lax. And generally speaking, the barriers to entry to business has gotten lax. You can set up an LLC fairly quickly on your own. You don't have to have an attorney or an accountant set it up for you. And so a lot of times, musicians, business owners will do that on their own without having any kind of consultation. Or some businesses don't even take the time to actually set up an entity. So you're operating in your own name, or you haven't even taken into consideration for that. And so I would implore that during this time, during this shutdown, this is an excellent opportunity to get lit. Is an excellent opportunity to make sure that you have the things in place that you probably felt you didn't have the time to do before. So that could be setting up the LLC and making sure that your business is legit, getting a separate bank account and running all of your business transactions through that account. So when you are on that Show For Me platform and you're getting paid for your online concerts or your music or whatever, that money is not just being deposited everywhere, it's going into your business bank account. It's also an opportunity to make sure that you've established the right relationships in your business. Because even as a musician, a business owner, you may own your business by yourself, but you can't operate business by yourself. You have to have a team. You have to have the right people around you. And we've seen a lot of musicians, a lot of creative people get in trouble with the IRS because they don't have a good accountant on their team. And so whether that's me or somebody else, very important to make sure that you have an accountant on your team to keep you out of trouble. You want to make sure that you're filing your taxes on time, you're paying your taxes on time, because the last thing that you want is you not to be able to continue to do the thing that you love because Uncle Sam is after you. The other thing is making sure that you have the other people on your team, like Stacy. You have to have an attorney on your team when you are building this business, because there are people out there that will take advantage of you. There are people who will have you performing and not pay you, or steal your intellectual property. And so making sure that you have someone that can help you navigate through that. And I always recommend too that business owners and people even in the music industry, that you invest in a mentor. And when I say invest in a mentor, maybe that may mean that you have to pay somebody to mentor you, but it could be there are people who might mentor you for free in exchange for something else. So if you find someone who is in the industry that you're in and they're willing to give their time, their talent, their information to you, show up on time for those meetings. If they give you assignments, do the assignments, and offer something. There may be something that you can do to compensate them if it's not money. So, but it's really important to understand that having those relationships are key to being successful. And the last tip that I would share is, it's kind of echoing what has already been said, is that this is the time to think out of the box. We cannot do things, obviously, because we're doing this conference virtually, we can't do things business as usual. And so you have to be willing to stretch yourself and be willing to do something that may be a little uncomfortable, to do things that are a little different, because in order to get different results, you have to have different actions. So I don't know. I think I may be left my time, but I am looking forward to the Q&A if there are any specific questions for me. But that's my intro. Those are my tips.
Awesome information. And I hadn't had the pleasure of meeting you before today, but your name will certainly be a referral contact for information going forward. So I really appreciate those tips. And it's great that we have the legal side and the financial side coming right behind that, and the accounting and things like that. And I definitely got some questions. So
okay.
I'm going to be ready for you. So that'll lead us into our final panelist. And we keep running into each other. We have the same last name, maybe that's why, but she is a great resource, and I love interacting with her. And just look at her. She just looks like she belongs. She looks like an artist, and she just looks like industry. If you look up industry,
Oh my gosh.
you can see a picture of her. And so I'd like to introduce Karen Marie Mason and let her take it from there.
Wow, thank you so much. You're such a great moderator. I like listening and looking at you. I want to say greetings to Stacy and Bernadette. I'm grateful to share this platform with you. I want to say thank you to Mr. Johnston and for inviting me and for partnering with me and for being a friend and advisor. And congratulations to the Just Blues Music Foundation on 20 years. My name is Karen Marie Mason, and I do quite a few things in this business, but I think all of them really center around advocacy, supporting, managing, and in some ways even being Mama Karen to artists and to creatives. I started my career at Sony Music some decades ago. Ended up being a product manager and director of marketing before going over to East West Electra under Sylvia Rohn and heading what was then the quote unquote Black music marketing department, though we didn't call it that, but that's sort of what we did. But, you know, the way Sylvia works is that she doesn't necessarily work on those kinds of labels. And what she did was she really kind of forced a new way of looking at the way that we market music. And, you know, it's my position, and it was always her position, that if you can market one artist, you can market any artist. And so I expanded to market a number of different artists in a number of different genres. I think what I would do is share, and I'm also the founder of Artist Launch, which we'll get to talk about later. But in terms of some things that you can do now, there's a few things that really come to mind. One of them is to really take the time to clarify your brand. Who are you? Who is your target audience? Why? What is your value? What do you value? These are the times when we can sort of sit and go within. I think a lot of times people, artists, creatives will just focus on the music, and the music will tell the story. Not in this day and time where there are literally hundreds of thousands of songs being released on various platforms every single day. There has to be more to it. And I think now is the time that we have a little time that we can really dig into who we are and what our story is, and really find our voice, not only through the music we make, but how we want to communicate who we are. Because it is this kind of connection with other people that really takes someone from just maybe liking your music to really becoming a supporter of your music, of your brand, and subsequently of everything that you do. This is also a great time to create content. But again, when you think about creating content, you have to really be clear on what you're communicating. What is your voice? What are the other skills that you have that you've been hiding in the closet because you think nobody cares, because you think that it's not relevant? And little do you know, there's so many people out here that want to connect with you because of these other skills that you have hidden. And it is a great time to collaborate. It's a time to sort of shoot your shot, to reach out to those who you've, like Stacy said, been trying to reach out to and don't know how, and didn't think that it could happen. I mean, you just never know. You might DM somebody and boom, they respond. But again, you have to be clear on who you are, on what you want, on how you're communicating, on what your brand represents. And now is really a good time to really be able to do that. In terms of music supervision, I would also advise, even though a lot of television is sort of slowing down for a minute, it's starting to pick back up. I think what we found is there's a whole new market for music supervision. That includes web series. That includes all kinds of different content that people are putting out. That includes even Zooms. Zooms now have theme songs and music beds and end songs and end titles and all of these things that we did not have before. So it is really a time to think out of the box. Yes, we all want to place our song in a big, blockbuster movie. But how about placing your song or doing the theme song for a popular Zoom or a popular live stream or a popular web series? Let us think out the box and not really look at, following any preconceived avenue to where you want to go. Think about it in terms of like the whole world is your canvas, and that's how I look at it. Think about reaching your destination in other new, innovative ways. And that's what I would share with you today. Thank you.
My watch just buzzed right at 5 minutes when you stopped. So I don't know. We must have started our timers at the same time. but we're always in sync. I guess it's that last name thing.
It is.
So I guess that now leads us to our Q&A. Okay, here we go. We're popping back up now. And I got questions, but I'm going to defer to questions from our viewers. And I have a question, and I'm going to edit it a little bit because it actually leads into a question that I had. And the question is, if you're a label and you want to have several brands attached to it, what type of business should you apply for? And that leads to a question, Ms. Harris, when you were talking and you talked about people operating as a solo and not forming an entity. So, taking that question and kind of adding my own, why, first of all, why should you do it? What are the advantages of forming an entity? And then how do you advise someone on what type of entity to actually form?
Okay, so first I have to start with my disclaimer to say that this is general information and it's not specific tax advice. So regardless of what I say today, you still need to have a conversation with your personal tax advisor.
That's correct. And that goes for all our answers today. This is all just general information. We are not your advisors or attorneys. So you do need to talk to your own folks, but we just want to help guide you in the right direction. So thank you.
Absolutely. Right. So one of the things that I recommend with any type of entity is setting up a legal structure, because setting up a legal structure like an LLC does several things. First, it legitimizes your business. And so it lets people know that you really are in business and they're not just writing checks to Bernadette Harris, but they're actually writing checks by the book accounting, And so the LLC will legitimize your business. It will make people know that you're serious and committed to what it is that you're doing. And then you also, setting up an LLC has a way of being able to provide you with tax advantages as well as legal advantages. And so when you speaking about the tax advantages to the LLC is my favorite entity because it's extremely flexible. The LLC can be whatever you need it to be. So I call the LLC the chameleon because an LLC can be an LLC taxed as a sole proprietorship. It can be an LLC taxed as a partnership, a S Corp, or a C Corp. And it just depends on where you are in the business, what type of money you're generating from your business, and which entity is actually going to make the most sense for you from a tax perspective. But when you set that LLC up, you never have to change your name. So you can set up the LLC from day one and start out as an LLC taxed as a sole proprietorship, which makes sense when you're first getting started. You're not really generating a significant amount of income. And then when your business grows to the point where maybe you're going to bring on a partner, or maybe you have enough cash flow that you want to do something different, then maybe switching to an S Corp or a C Corp makes sense. And you don't have to change anything. You keep your same tax ID number, you keep your same business account. It's just really the way that the IRS will tax you. So hopefully that answers the question, or at least gives you an idea of some of the things, some of the conversations that you need to have with your accountant.
I just have a question. You kind of answered it, Bernadette. So, for instance, if I have a couple different LLCs and maybe one of them I have not been active with for a while and may not have even done all of the paperwork, does the tax ID number that I initially received for that LLC, is it still valid?
It depends on how long, because they do expire. So if you have an LLC that you set up, I honestly don't know what the actual time is because that's not in any IRS publications, but I think 5 years or more, if there's no tax returns that's ever been filed on that EIN number, at some point the IRS will basically shut that EIN number down.
Okay.
And probably at some point, like telephone numbers, reissue it to somebody else at a later date. And so, so if you haven't filed a tax return for it over a significant period of time, I always tell clients, if in that situation, we need to call the IRS to see if this number is if it's still good.
Thank you.
Wow, what great information. So I have a question, and this is sort of a follow-up to Attorney Epps, and then I'd like to also get Karen's perspective on it too. You mentioned trademarking, and trademarking and branding go hand in hand, and so if you could just expound on the importance of securing your trademark as an artist, and then Karen, how the brand, your artist name and your brand, and how that all fits in with your trademark, from a brand perspective as opposed to a legal perspective. So you want to start?
So as far as your artist name and trademarking it, it's just very important, because if you think about, your artist name is your brand. It is what you are making money from. It's what you are known as. It is essentially everything, right? And so you want to ensure that, especially even when you pick your name, you want to ensure that no one else has a name that is possibly confusing with your name or close to your name. So I always implore people just to do a quick, do a search, make sure that no one else is using something that where they can eventually stop you. Now, it's important to note, as far as trademarks, there is common law trademark protection, which means you will automatically have trademark protection based on the area within which you use your mark, okay? You can't necessarily sue based on this, but you do have that protection. Now, what you want to do is register with the United States Patent and Trademark Office so that you can get federal protection for your mark. And it's important to note, the most important thing is who used the mark first in commerce. So just because you submit a trademark registration and you get accepted, it doesn't mean that someone can't come back who's been using it longer and take that name away from you. And I've seen that happen. I've also seen it happen to where people have been using a name for 10 plus years and just neglected to register it. And then they go to register it, and someone has just beat them to the trademark office to register their mark, and they just didn't have the resources at the time to fight them. They could have fought them, right? They could have filed a petition to cancel, and it's just like a lawsuit, in the trademark office. But, it takes a lot of resources. So it's very important to go ahead and protect that brand and make sure, and then also have a qualified professional that can help you do that, because it's a 13 to 18 month process, and they can come back to you and ask you questions. And if you don't respond accordingly, you can lose your money. So it's very important.
And Karen, before you chime in, I want to say one more thing about trademark. And this question, I'm sure you get this all the time too, Stacy. If somebody has a name and they spell it F-I-R-E and you change it to P-H-I-R-E, it's still the same mark. Basically. Right. Phonetically, it's the same. So when you come and you think a little spelling variation is going to save you, it's not. So I only mention that because it comes up all the time.
Yeah, because their standard is substantial likelihood of confusion.
Right.
So if it sounds the same, even if it looks a Z versus a S, you get that all the time. Well, I have friends with a Z, or I have, with an S. And then one more thing, you just want to be careful that your mark is not descriptive, because if your mark describes exactly what you're registering, they will reject the registration. It does need to be distinctive, so you have to be careful with that too. Like plant-based, I had somebody trying to register plant-based something, and they denied it because they said that's descriptive.
Yeah. So from a brand perspective, Karen, how do you help people, to use a name or a brand or a logo? What's your process in that?
I think that first of all, creatives should understand that everything about the way they present themselves is part of their brand. The way they speak, the way they logo, the colors in their logo, how they speak, what platforms they use. All of that really encompasses in creating a bigger picture as to who you are and having people relate to you. And there are two things that I kind of see commonly. On the one hand, I see people who are putting forth a brand, but all of the pieces don't add up. They don't communicate a cohesive message as to who you are, right? And if you're not communicating a cohesive message, then I can't connect with you, right? If you're all over your colors are all over the place, what your values are all over the place, what you wear is all over the place, how you speak is all over the place, then I can't really find a commonality for me to connect with you as a fan and support you. So that's on the one hand. On the other hand, I find that people don't necessarily spend enough time on really considering how they want to present themselves visually, verbally, through their music, through their logos, through their colors, that they just don't think that matters. And what they should understand is that all of it matters, all right? All of it matters. All that you do matters. All that you do begins to really center you in the eyes of your potential fans. And if you're all over the place, they have nothing to hold on to. And you say, okay, well, they got the music. Yeah, they have the music, but guess what? They might hold on for a second, and as soon as the next thing comes along, they're gone because there was nothing cohesive enough for them to hold on to, right? And so, when you're thinking about your brand, you're thinking about what it is about you that makes you special. And then you create campaigns around that to communicate that specialness, that uniqueness, that thing that only you can do the way that you do it to your audience and your potential audiences.
Awesome. Great information. Ms. Bernadette, I'm going to come back to you. And I have a question. I was wondering, we're talking about surviving the shutdown. Are there programs that artists can take advantage of, like whether it's unemployment or disaster relief or any kind of government or local or organizational programs that you're aware of that, or you've seen artists take advantage of during this time?
So all of the programs that have opened up, the PPP, the EIDL loan, the unemployment, all of those things are open to any business. The challenge that a lot of artists may be facing is their businesses aren't legit. So they don't have documentation to show that they've actually been they're operating as a business. With the PPP loan, with the EIDL, they want to see tax returns, and they want to see that you've claimed your business on your tax returns. And so a lot of business owners have missed out on these things because they don't have the documentation to be able to say that I am a legitimate business. I have been in business for X number of years, and as a result, I would like to be able to access this funding. And so if that's you, let's just use this as an opportunity to learn because this has been a wake-up call for a lot of business owners, not just musicians,
Right.
not just people in the music industry. It's been a wake-up call for a lot of business owners to get it together. You know, like we accountants, we have been busy because people finally see how important it is to have an accountant and have a relationship with an accountant. Because if you don't and you don't have these things, then you missed out on lots of money and opportunities to be able to salvage your brand or keep things going.
That's real, Bernadette. And I have to say, a couple of the artists that I have dealt with, because they had an accountant, because they had their paperwork in line, they were able to take advantage of that PPP stuff, and they were able to get a check. So it's real, right? It's very real.
Yeah. And there's a common theme. It all goes back to using this time to make sure that if you haven't had your affairs in order up until now, like now is the time to do it, because you're right, Bernadette, just to be in a position to have funding available to you, but you can't take advantage of it because you haven't had your business affairs in order is just a terrible place to be.
It's a lot, and musicians aren't the only ones. It's a lot of businesses, especially businesses that were heavy cash business, like hairdressers and barbers. Those types of businesses, they have been affected as well because they weren't documented. Like they're only claiming the money that they deposited in the bank account, but not the cash that they received in their hands. And as a result, it's just kind of come back to bite a whole lot of people. And I feel like, because I've been saying this a lot, and I don't want to really beat a dead horse, but I really just want us to, okay, this is what happened. Now let's learn from it. How do we take this and move forward in a better way? So hopefully we don't have another ever in our lifetime pandemic, but it's also a wake-up call to recognize that being legitimate in your business serves multiple purposes. In this instance, it would serve a purpose of positioning you for funding. But going forward, post-COVID, you got to think about, you may want someone to invest in your business. And how are you going to get someone to invest in a business that you don't have documentation for? You don't have your copyrights in order. You don't have books. And when I say books, you don't have an accounting system in place. And so use this time as an opportunity to not get caught with your pants down again, because that's really what happened. A whole lot of people got caught with their pants down.
Right.
Stacy, I have another question for you, and this may be something that you have, on your website or elsewhere, or you may have something off the top of your head. But the question is, do you have a basic checklist for artists to have when they're starting their careers in the entertainment industry?
I usually provide that, like I really enjoy doing consultations when I work with my clients. I call myself a holistic attorney. So I look at the entire picture, not just, hey, send me your contract, hey, do this. I like to look at your vision, your goals, and how we can create a personalized plan for you moving forward, because everything is not one size fits all. Every type of artist is different, a producer versus artist versus musician, so it's really important for me to see the entire picture in order to build a solid foundation for your career, and I really, really push it on my clients. I want your vision and I want it clear. I want you to be able to tell it to me. I know it, you know what I mean? Like, not like, I want to do, no, that's not good enough, like, so I really, I like to look at the whole picture because everything is connected. So I don't have per se, just like a general one. Although it's something I definitely can create, and I will, because you asked that. But, generally, I would say the most important things, like I mentioned, starting out, what's your brand? What's your name going to be, right? You want to search, make sure it's unique. You want to protect that name, right? You want to make sure that you protect your works, right? Copyright your works. Make sure you have that. You want to join a performing rights organization, right? You want to research ASCAP, BMI, CSAC, see which one is right for you, right? So that's for your publishing. You want to have general contracts that you may need in place. If you're going to be have producers that are working with you, you want to do that. Like Bernadette said, if you're going to be spending money on your business, you want to have a business, right? If you want to be a professional, you want to have a business. That's key, so you're going to want to set that up. Luckily in Georgia, it's a lot easier to set up a business. Some other states, like I just saw Massachusetts, it's $500 and $500 a year. So there are considerations you have to look at as far as, is my state a business friendly? And I'm, and I had to advise one client. I said, look, you're not really making that much money yet. I'm not really sure. They were hesitant about making that investment of 500 plus 500 a year, but it just, depends on your situation. But those are the main things. And then always start building your team early. A lot of people say, well, I don't need an attorney yet. It's nothing really going on. And I said, no, you know what? That's the perfect time to establish your relationships with your professional team. Why? Because there's no pressure. There's no money on the table. There's no rushing. Like, oh, I got to find an attorney real quick. I don't even know if I can trust this attorney or trust this manager, right? Because when money's on the table, everybody changes and everybody's like, yeah, I'll do it, and so build your team while you're still building. So these people, you can trust these people, you can take time. If they won't talk to you when you don't have a whole lot of money, then why would you want to talk to them when you have money? Because what does that tell you? That's all they want. That's all they care about. And the one thing I really want to stress, sorry, it's the last thing, I know it's a lot. Last thing I want to stress, we work for the artist. We are the employees. We are serving the artist. We are not your boss. We are not. And so I want you to remember that without the music, there is nothing. We work for you. And that is the bottom line, because I'm tired of seeing these executives and these attorneys and these managers acting like they control the artist. And that is not the case. Yeah. So everybody needs to get that in line, because I just had an experience with that. That's why it's like burning in me. Know that. Remember, we work for you. Yes. You have the final say. We teach you so you can make the decision. We advise you, but you have to make the final decision on everything. And that's why it's important for you to have the knowledge. And I appreciate every artist that takes the time to get that knowledge so they can make informed decisions that are best for their career. Sorry.
Awesome. All right.
That's a word. And I would just...
Go ahead.
I would just add to that. It's sort of the same in branding and marketing. You don't want someone to come in and say, oh, this is what you should do. This is what you should wear. This is how you open up your shirt a little bit more. No, what a good branding person or marketing person will help you do is to bring out what is already in you, right? Mm-hmm. And so, when we work with our artists, we sit and we want to go deep and bring out. We heard the music. So we're not even dealing with the music right now. We want to go with, what's your value? What are your strengths? What do you see? How do you see the world? All of those things really go into how you shape an artist. The other thing I would mention as this thing is going on is Brian Calhoun of the Music Toolbox has a pretty extensive checklist from a marketing single album setup kind of perspective. And Mr. Johnson, I don't know if we still have a link to it, but if we do have a link to the Music Toolbox, we can put it in the chat and you can sort of get a copy of that list. For the list that I use, if you're part of Artist Launch, which is our private Facebook group for musicians and artists and creatives, we can send that out to you.
So, Karen, I'm going to continue with you and then flow to the other speakers. I want you to give your information where people can find you. But what I really want you to do is talk about the people you can help and how they can help you help them by when they come to you. What information do you want them to have available? What do they need to, what websites or social media do they need to share with you? So like, I guess I'm asking you to set up, okay, how do you find me? And then help me help you by being prepared. And this is how you can do that.
Was that for me?
Yeah, for you, and then I'll just go there and help the same thing.
Honestly, an artist doesn't have to come with much when they come.
Okay.
Right? Because we are really looking to go within and rebuild what's there, right? And really, if it's not there, to help bring it out of them. So they don't have to come with anything flashy and any social media, because the way that you may have posted in social media, once you really are clear on your brand, that might all change.
But is it helpful for you to see what they were doing before?
Absolutely. It would be helpful to see what they were doing before, and if it had any rhyme or reason. And oftentimes it never did. And what we try to do is give it some rhyme or reason. Give it a why. Why are you doing this? How are you doing this? Why are you saying these things? Who are you trying to reach? What are your strengths? What are your weaknesses? Right? So we begin to really take it apart and just really rebuild it piece by piece, brick by brick, which also takes time. This is not an overnight, put on this outfit, assemble these colors and bam, that's my brand. No, because you have to really go within and really be clear on who you are. And a lot of times we're not clear on that. So it takes some time to really bring clarity to who you are and the message that you're trying to share with others.
Awesome. Bernadette, how can people connect with you? And then who are your, like within the realm, the music and entertainment area, what type of clients can you help?
So to connect with me, my website is bythebookaccounting.com. That's BY, not BUO. BUI, but BYTHEBOOKACCOUNTING.com. Really long. But you can connect with me on my website. I'm also on social media at Trust Bernadette on all social media platforms. But one of the things that, if you are the business owner, if you're the artist, if you're the musician who doesn't have it together, maybe you got started and you skipped some steps, or you didn't really take the time to really set your business up properly, these are the people that I can help. So I can help you with making sure that you're in the right entity type, making sure that you have a way to keep track of your income and expenses so that you can start filing tax returns and legitimizing your business. And then just figuring out, again, what are the goals? If the plan is that you are looking for someone to invest in what you're doing or partner with you, then you want to be presentable from an accounting standpoint. And so just like when you get ready for a date, you're going to take a bath and you're going to freshen up and do all these kinds of things. And so for me, I'm the accountant. I'm the one that's going to kind of make sure that that financial piece is in place.
Awesome. All right, back to you, Ms. Stacy. You talked about consultations, and do you ask clients to bring anything, or you mentioned you want them to, have their spiel ready, their pitch on who they are, but anything else? And also, how can people find you?
Well, you can find me on Instagram at Stacy Epps, just how my name is written there. And my website is Your Creative Counsel. So it's YOUR Creative COUNSEL.com. You can actually book consultations right on my site, and I do free intro calls as well. And I really just ask when I meet with new clients that they just have the paperwork that they've done, anything that they've signed so far. I like to review that and see what their obligations are, and that they just kind of give me a history and background of what they've done and what they're looking to do in the future. And they'll usually have their questions ready. I tell you, they're usually pretty well prepared for their time.
Yeah. Well, this has been So awesome. I've enjoyed it so much. I don't know how I got so lucky to be the one to moderate this panel, but I have really enjoyed it. And from the comments and the questions, the audience has as well. So I really want to thank you for your time. I know it's a Saturday and there's a lot of things that we could be doing, but it says a lot about you that you took the time to help people. And we really, really appreciate it. And I wish you all the best.
Thank you
Thank
so much.
you.
You've been a great moderator. Thank you to Mr. Johnson as well.
Thank you. Yes, you were a great moderator. You did a
I
wonderful
appreciate
job.
that. I appreciate that. Thank you. Thank you.
All right.
And with that, we're going to end up where we started, but I have to say something before I get to Mr. Mitchell, and I'm sure he doesn't mind waiting. This is my first time moderating a Zoom or a StreamYard or any kind of virtual. It might be my first time moderating a panel like this anywhere, but definitely online. And I got to say, Mr. Johnston did an incredible job in putting this all together. Everybody's been on camera and had a chance to talk, but that man is behind the scenes, and he has his calmness. He knows what he's doing. He makes you feel like everything is going to be all right. And this thing was smooth. And the only glitch was when I accidentally hit the wrong button and signed and he got
This is new to us.
He got me right back in, right in time. And I'm sitting there sweating and panicking, but he just pulled it back together. So I really want to give him a great shout out for the great job he did behind the scenes. And we couldn't have pulled this off without him. And I wanted to say that. And with that, I'll turn it back over to Mr. Mitchell to wrap us up.
Jonathan, thank you so much, man. You're an amazing moderator. And the panel is just so exciting with the information. I can't say enough, but I will wrap it up by saying thank you to you, Mr. Mason, being that great moderator, and Ms. Stacy Epps, Bernadette Harris, Karen Mason, and the Show for Me guys. Thank you all so much. This is our first opportunity at doing our workshop this way. As Jonathan said earlier, we do miss Tunica and being there live and networking together, but things are going to be done different, as we just got word from some of our panelists that things will be different in the future, and we should use all we can to be ready to present ourselves in this new world. So with that said, again, I want to thank you guys. Dr. Jones, thank you. Alan Johnston, thank you so much. As Jonathan said, without you behind the scenes and putting all of this together, it would not be possible. And I hope everyone enjoyed this session and the information. There will be more to come from Blues Got a Soul. And I want to thank, you see, the people who helped bring this party and brought it to us today. Smoke-Free Music Cities, Visit Mississippi, the B.B. King Museum, the Horseshoe Casino, Living Blues Magazine, Blues Festival Guide, Tunica Convention and Visitors Bureau. These are the folks also behind the scenes and supporting us to bring this to you. So we'll continue to ask you for your support so that we can continue to do these works, bring information to the artists, and continue to recognize artists who continue to expand the sounds and the styles of the blues. With that said, tomorrow at 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, we're going to reach in the vaults and bring you the Just Blues Music Awards in retrospect. We invite you to join us. You're going to be able to see some of the performances from our live shows over the years. Performances never seen before unless you were there. So We look forward to seeing you tomorrow at 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time for the Just Blues Music Awards as we keep the music playing. Thank you so much for joining us today, and we look forward to seeing you for the next one. Be sure to check us out at justblues.org. Get more information. Thank you so much.